gives you access to more than 1,600 exhibitors and over 35,000 attendees from more than 75 exhibiting countries. Participate in trade and investment deals worth $43 billion as business and government come together to explore business opportunities. Register now. Brought to you by the African Export-Import Bank, African Union Commission, AFCFTA Secretariat and their premium partners. IATF 2023, connecting African markets.
Supporting us in ensuring that the African Union adopts coffee as a strategic commodity. We also thank government through you, Right Honorable, for your support, and especially you for maintaining an open door policy to the private sector and for adopting a raft of measures when it mattered the most during COVID, especially deferral of payment of taxes, restructuring of loans, and for adopting our proposals to the budget. So we are set, we are readying businesses to take advantage of the Continental Free Trade Area, but because of time, again, Right Honorable, as we speak, and the previous speaker has spoken to the need to begin doing, we face non-tariff barriers, and as the leadership of the Private Sector Foundation, whenever our products are blocked by our brothers around the region, we face lots of pressure from the business community. A section of our business community is beginning to pile pressure to say that maybe it's about time for us to develop some teeth and bite and deploy reciprocity, which does not make sense at all. So it would not do good for Ugandan businesses to start advocating for reciprocity in blocking products of our brothers and sisters. But we are at the receiving end. There is also a growing voice among integrate by litigation to ensure that our leaders are held accountable for the protocols that they ratified, freedom of movement of goods, because whenever our products are blocked, the impact, the losses are very, very huge. So our prayer today is that this summit determines whether protectionism makes business sense, and it is our view that it doesn't. We need to recommit ourselves to integration and to ensuring the freedom of movement of persons and goods within the region, unfettered access of all our products, and that way we shall guarantee the prosperity of all the peoples of the East Africa. Thank you very much for listening to me, and I wish you a productive summit.
I apologized for my shaky German, and because my German is shaky, I am not in the mood to murder a name, because it's clearly in German. Our next speaker is from the German Development Corporation, GIZ, and he's Mr. Michael K. Squared. The other two Ks are German names, and I'm asking him, by the mercies of God, to pronounce them for me when he gets. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Michael K. Squared.
My name is Michael Klingler from GIZ. Honorable guest, Deputy Prime Minister of Uganda and Minister of East African Community Affairs, Republic of Uganda. Honorable guests, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed. Try to keep myself short. I'm deeply honored to represent GIZ and the German Development Corporation at this pivotal East African Business and Investment Summit under the theme Private Sector-Driven Regional Integration of Increased Intra-African Trade and Investment. In 2019, with the support of GIZ, the East African Business Council successfully organized a summit that fostered meaningful dialogues between key stakeholders. We witnessed the signing of vital resolutions that spotlighted the need for policy enhancements to amplify trade and investment in East Africa. It brings up immense joy to once again collaborate as a premium partner for this summit. And we extend our heartfelt appreciation to the government of Uganda for their gracious hospitality. The close and successful relationship between Germany and Uganda is not new. Our development cooperation dates back to 1964, and next year we will celebrate 60 years of this successful collaboration. Together we have worked on renewable energy, rural development, food security, water supply and sanitation, as well as good governance and business. At GIZ, we champion a vibrant private sector across East Africa, recognizing its profound influence in shaping sustainable national economies. Through our initiatives, we aspire to harmonize the innovative spirit of the private sector, development of new markets. Acknowledging that small and medium-sized enterprises form the backbone of the East African community businesses ecosystem, we emphasize their role in providing employment and boosting income for EAC citizens. Furthermore, a thriving private sector can contribute significantly to public revenues, facilitating the enhancement of public services and investments. The East African Community Treaty underscores the significance of an empowered private sector, reaffirming its role as a cornerstone for the community's prosperity. With the treaty accentuating a people-centered, market-driven economy, it serves as a beacon encouraging the diverse EAC private sector to engage actively in the integration process. Our commitment extends to supporting the private sector in policy creation, ensuring they harness the opportunities offered by regional integration and intra-EAC trade and investment. The inauguration of the African Continental Free Trade Area. However, with intra-African trade comprising less than 20% of the continent's total trade volume, there remains much to be achieved. Germany proudly stands as a fervent supporter of regional economic integration at both REC and African Continental Free Trade Area levels. Our mission is multifaceted. Educate and empower the private sector regarding African Continental Free Trade Area's vast prospects. Facilitate their participation in the African Continental Free Trade Area implementation at national and regional scales. Advocate for streamlined administrative procedures and simplified trade frameworks. Promote inclusive trade under the African Continental Free Trade Area, and foster investments that hold promises for Africa's regional value chains. Esteemed attendees, as we explore diverse topics from the digital economy to climate-smart agriculture, we recognize that intricate nature of the challenges. Yet our collective dedication towards crafting solutions remains steadfast. In closing, our profound gratitude goes to the African Business Council and the East African Community Secretariat for orchestrating this summit. We are optimistic that the insights garnered will mold the regional and continental trade landscape. Rest assured, GIZ will continually support both the private sector and the East African community in these endeavors. Thank you so much.
Right Honorable, as you may well know, there's a big distinction between Sababi and Sebabi. Our next speaker is not Sababi, he is Sebavi, and I wanted to make that be very known. Sebavi would literally mean that there has been a confirmation that the particular individual named that way cannot pass the bare minimum of handsome.
25 government come together to explore business opportunity to you by the African Export-Import Bank, African Union Commission,
So
AF.
MC, mine is going to be a little longer because as to get to the guest of honor, it gets longer. Right Honorable Rebecca Alitwara Kadaga, First Deputy Prime Minister of the Republic of Uganda and Minister of East African Community Affairs. And allow me, MC and ladies and gentlemen, after that to take the protocols as have been observed by my colleagues. As Afreximbank, it's an honor and privilege to partner and organize this Business and Investment Summit with the East African Business Council. Allow me to begin by conveying warm greetings from our President, President and Chairman of the Board of Governors, Directors of African Exim Bank. Special thanks go to the Right Honorable Rebecca Alitwara Kadaga, First Deputy Prime Minister of Uganda and Minister of East African Community Affairs, for joining us today as we engage and foster strategic trade and investment links. Your presence, Madam, is a clear testimony of your unwavering support and commitment to the promotion of trade and investment and the integration of the East African community with the rest of Africa. And to our partners in the collaboration effort, the East African Business Council, led by my namesake and classmate, John Bosco Kalisa, your commitment to the private sector development in Africa and East Africa is commendable. Today's event would not have been possible without your commitment and drive to promoting private sector development. Ladies and gentlemen, our Business and Investment Summit theme today is promoting private sector-driven regional integration for increased intra-African trade and investment. At Afrexim Bank, the promotion of intra-African trade is at the core of our mandate. In 2016, Afrexim Bank took a deliberate decision to prioritize the promotion of intra-African trade under its 5th strategic plan, which we dubbed Impact 2021. In this context, and in the anticipation of the African Content of Free Trade Agreement, Afrexim Bank developed an intra-African trade strategy to facilitate intra-African trade and investments. Under the 5th strategic plan, which expired in 2021, the bank disbursed over $2 billion in support of intra-African trade and investments. Intra-African trade is also given prominence in the bank's 6th strategic plan, which we have dubbed Impact 2026, Intra-African Trade and SFTA implementation, industrialization and export development, leadership in global trade banking in Africa, and financial sustainability. The Intra-African Trade and SFTA implementation pillar is one of the strategic pillars, as we believe that the agreement provides the impetus and dynamism to the process of economic integration and structural transformation of African economies. The SFTA is a marketplace of 1.4 billion people, and this is probably the largest free trade area created since the WTO. We need to take advantage of this market as the private sector. And according to estimates from the UNECA, intra-African trade in industrial products could increase by $60 billion annually if the implementation of the SFTA is accompanied by robust trade facilitation measures. I think Mr. Karia talked about this. We can exploit and explore this. Now, as a Trade and Finance Bank for Africa, we are committed to supporting efforts towards promoting regional economic integration in line with the bank's mandate and the AU, the African Union's Agenda 2063, which is the Africa we want. Coming closer to East Africa, the EAC, with a population of 300 million people and a combined GDP of over $305 billion, the East Africa and rest of Africa trade has been steadily increasing from 2013 to date, with the trade balance being in favor of the East African community. So you can see your potential. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, as Afreximbank, we would like to position ourselves as the go-to development partner for EAC, rest of Africa export diversification strategies, development of manufacturing, infrastructure, technology, and logistics sectors in line with the aspirations of the ACFTA. We would like to partner and work with the East African Development Bank and other financial institutions in the EAC to provide the much-needed finance to support trade and investment in the region. The intra-African trade opportunities under the ACFTA will help crowd in investments in sectors away from Africa's reputation in trading in primary products. Therefore, solid export manufacturing capacities and capabilities, as well as domestic and content supply chains, will fast investment. The bank has got several products to stimulate the EAC rest of Africa trade. Most of the export processing centers. Afreximbank is facilitating the emergence